Has money vanished from your USAA account? Are you frustrated they're not giving it back to you? You are not powerless. The Electronic Funds Transfer Act, or EFTA, is your secret weapon. Hi, this is Consumer Protection Attorney Bill Clanton. I've helped thousands of consumers deal with difficult financial issues, from credit reporting to debt collection harassment, and all kinds of things in between. We're going to give you what you need to get your money back from USAA or learn how to sue them. So who is USAA Federal Savings Bank? USAA is an insurance company that caters to members of the military, and they were established in 1922. USAA, the insurance company, established USAA Federal Savings Bank around 1983. But the Federal Savings Bank is a regular bank. It's an FDIC-insured bank that issues checks. They'll issue a checkbook. You can deposit money in, make withdrawals. They have a few branches, and they'll issue debit card. Now, the Federal Savings Bank does not enjoy a great reputation. Let's put it that way. They have got 1.9 stars on Google with over 500 reviews. There's nearly 150 lawsuits filed against them for violating the Electronic Funds Transfer Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act. There's over 400 complaints with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau against USAA Federal Savings Bank. So their customers are not happy. Now, if you keep up with the news, and as a USAA customer, I'm sure that you've seen this or heard about this, they've been hacked internally and externally. There were 2 women in Louisiana who were recently arrested. One was charged with 65 counts of identity theft, another with 175 counts of identity theft. One of these women was working inside USAA or inside USAA or a USAA partner who handled their phone calls, and she was stealing information and giving to her friend who was then going out and committing identity theft, identity fraud. But what has probably affected more USAA customers is the Russian hackers. The Russians apparently hacked into USAA FSB, and it's a huge data breach issue. They stole all kinds of account information, committed all kinds of fraudulent transfers, and ruined people's lives. There are multiple news stories about this, how people's lives have been ruined. People have tried to cover the cost. USAA has denied that there's fraud and has turned down people's disputes and notices. If you are one of the people who is affected by this, I'm sorry, but keep listening, because whether it was the Russians, some women in Louisiana, or anybody else, somebody you know, anytime there's an unauthorized transaction on your bank account that is done electronically, the Electronic Funds Transfer Act applies. There are billions of transactions every day, billions of digital transactions, electronic transactions every day, and the EFTA covers all of them. What we're focusing on here, there's lots of ways the EFTA covers these transactions. What we're focusing on here is unauthorized transactions. Anytime anybody besides you or anybody acts without your permission to take your money, then the person who allows that violates the Electronic Funds Transfer Act. So what do you need to do? So you need to limit your liability is the first step. If you report the unauthorized transaction within 2 business days of learning of it, then you're limited to $50 in liability. So if you're taking a vacation in the mountains, you don't have any cell phone reception, you can't check your bank account, you get into town, you get an alert, or you look at your bank account and you see 5 days later that there's an unauthorized transaction, that's the first time you've learned of it. If you report it within 2 business days of learning of that, then your liability is limited to $50. The reason it's important to report it in those $50 is because the next reporting period has a much larger exposure to you. If you report it outside of those 2 days, but within 60 days, then you could be responsible for up to $500 of the unauthorized charges. And if you report it after 60 days of learning of it, then you could be liable for the entire amount. So it's important to act quickly to notify USAA when you learn of an unauthorized transaction. How should you notify them? It's easiest to call them. If you make a call, to USAA, you should record it because they are going to record it. You should get confirmation confirmed by email. You should email their help desk. You can write them a letter too. You can notify them through the app, through the banking app. Get them notified as many ways as you can because they may say the phone call was inadequate. They may say the notice through the app was inadequate. They may say your letter was inadequate. But if you do all three, how can they say it's inadequate? So notify USAA early and often that these were unauthorized transactions that you should not be held responsible for. So what does USAA have to do once they get your notice? The EFTA says that USAA has 10 days to get back to you. Now, if it's a brand new account, they have 20 days. But generally speaking, USAA has 10 days to get back to you about the results of your dispute. If they need more time, they can get up to 45 days. I would expect them to take every day they possibly can. So I wouldn't expect a response for about 55, practically speaking, 60 days, about 2 months. So what does the EFTA allow you to recover from USAA? The Electronic Funds Transfer Act says you can recover your actual damages. That's the money you're out. That's also, I've seen this before, hackers withdrew money from a client's account just before her car payment and mortgage payment were about to go to auto pay. And those did not go through. They were NSF'd, non-sufficient funds. So she was left with a credit damage on her car note and her mortgage. She had to borrow money from somebody else to help catch up. All that's part of the actual damages from the violation of the EFTA. There are statutory damages under the EFTA. They are a minimum of $100 and up to $1,000 of statutory damages. There are court costs. You can recover court costs and you can recover attorney's fees. If you hire an attorney like me or anybody else, they should not charge you $1 to get working on your EFTA case. They will be able to track their time as they work on their case and then submit to the court or to the arbitrator, if there's an arbitration involved, the amount of time they spent on the case and be able to recover that. That's how attorneys get paid. That's how this law is enforced by private attorneys that get paid by USAA when they bring these claims, when they succeed in bringing these claims. Now, we should make a note here. The agreement that you entered into with USAA when you opened your account provides for arbitration. The USAA will likely try to send your case to arbitration. There are a couple of ways to get around it, some narrow circumstances, but it's always best to file these cases in court so there's a public record of what USAA did wrong. So there you have it. USAA Federal Savings Bank has a terrible reputation, and if you've been affected, if you've made it this far in the video, I assume you've been affected by it. Give us a call. We want to talk to you. If USAA has allowed unauthorized transactions in your account and they won't give you the money back, then they have violated the EFTA. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about it and see if we can help. If we can, we'll get started at no cost to you and work as hard as we can to get you your money back. And if we can show that USAA did this knowingly, we may be able to even recover treble damages. That means 3 times your actual damages. So give us a call. We want to talk to you. And thanks for watching this video.